Aquaculture pre-licensure examination. 1. Commercial fishing, municipal fishing, and sports fishing are included in the A. Types of capture fisheries activities, B. Order of capture fisheries, C. Classification of capture fisheries, D. Classification of selected capture fisheries. The correct answer, C. Refers to all kinds of harvesting of natural occurring living resource in both marine and freshwater environment. Number 2. Fishing utilizing active gears and vessels of more than 150 gross tons. A. On-board scale commercial fishing, B. Medium scale commercial fishing, C. Large scale commercial fishing, D. On-fleet scale commercial fishing. The correct answer, C. Involves the use of large high-capacity boats equipped with on-board facilities for freezing and processing and seafood at sea. Number 3. Any fish that harvests and sells fish or invertebrates mainly for profit. A. Artisanal fisheries, B. Municipal fisheries, C. Commercial fisheries, D. Traditional fisheries. The correct answer is C. Is the activity of catching fish and other seafood for commercial profit, mostly from wild fisheries. 4. Rod and reel, spearing, cast nets, hand fishing, and having low to no bycatch are involved in A. Traditional fishing, B. Recreational fishing, C. Artisanal fishing, D. Small-scale fishing. The correct answer is C. Consists of various small-scale, low-technology, low-capital fishing practice and undertaken by individual fishing household. 5. What other organism provide the base of the pyramid of ocean life? A. Seagrass, B. Seaweeds, C. Phytoplankton, D. Kelp. The correct answer is C. Are microscopic marine, also known as microalgae, and similar to terrestrial plant. An organism that obtain energy by feeding on other organisms. A. Predator, B. Carnivore, C. Consumer, D. Primary consumer. The correct answer is C. The use of surface water by human for harvesting aquatic organism for consumption. Number 7. Fishes that are born in freshwater spends most of life in sea and spawns in freshwater. A. Catadromus, B. Diadromus, C. Anadromus, D. Amphidromus. The correct answer is C. Fish born in freshwater who spend most of their lives in saltwater and return to freshwater to spawn. 8. Fishes that migrate from freshwater to spawn in the ocean. A. Anadromus, B. Amphidromus, C. Catadromus, D. Oceanodromus. The correct answer is C. Spend most of their lives freshwater then migrate to the sea to breed. 9. Fishes born in freshwater of estuaries then drift into the ocean as larvae before migrating back into freshwater to grow into adults and spawn. A. Anadromus, B. Catadromus, C. Amphidromus, D. Oceanodromus. The correct answer is C. A type of diadromous fish which migrate between fresh and salt water. 10. Fishes born in the upstream freshwater habitats then migrate downstream as juveniles to grow into adults before migrating back upstream to spawn. A. Amphidromus, B. Catadromus, C. Potamodromus, D. Oceanodromus. The correct answer is C. They move and complete their life cycle entire within freshwater. 11. Fishes born near spawning grounds then drift on ocean currents as larvae before setting as juveniles to grow into adults before migrating back to spawning grounds. A. Amphidromus, B. Catadromus, C. Oceanodromus, D. Potamodromus. The correct answer is C. Is a migratory fish. Unlike anadromous, it spends its whole life in salt water. 12. Includes all fishes known, all other flora and fauna and other organisms of the aquatic ecosystem. A. Marine fisheries resources, B. Inland fisheries resources, C. Fisheries resources, D. Aquatic resources. Is C. Are comprised of biological and physical attributes which can be further differentiated by quantity, quality, and directional attributes. 13. An example of a fish is A. Shrimp, B. Lobster, C. Seahorse, D. Crawfish. The correct answer is C. A small marine fish with a segment bony armor, an upright posture, a curled peregrine tail, and tubular snout, and a head and neck suggestive of a horse. 14. An example of shellfish is A. Jellyfish, B. Lobster, C. Cuttlefish, D. Milkfish. The correct answer is C. A marine mollusk that resembles a broad squid having 8 arms and 2 long tentacles that are used for grabbing prey. 15. Toxic chemicals such as mercury build up in the body of one organism is called A. Bioamplification, B. Biomagnification, C. Bioaccumulation, D. Bioconcentration. The correct answer is C. When a fish or other organism taken in a substance faster than their bodies can break it down and eliminate. 16. The increase in concentration of toxic chemicals such as mercury in the body of an organism as it moves up level in the food chain is called A. Bioamplification, B. Bioaccumulation, C. Biomagnification, D. Bioconcentration. The correct answer is C. The concentration of toxin in an organism as a result of its ingesting other plant or animal in which toxins are more widely disturbed. 16. A protected area where the only use allowed is ecotourism and or research. A. Marine sanctuary, B. Marine selected area, C. Marine parks, D. Marine reserve. The correct answer is C. A type of marine protected area, MPA. An MPA is a section of the ocean where a government has placed limits on human activity. 18. Is the evaluation or estimation of a size and or productivity of a given resource. A. Fish effort, B. Stock enumeration, C. Stock assessment, D. Stock manipulation. The correct answer is C. Is it to provide information to fishery managers that will allow them to control the catch of each species or species complex or the effort directed to it so that ideally population can be maintained to produce the MSY or LTPY for each species. It's a designated area where fishing activities are regulated and set aside for educational and research purposes. A. Marine reserve, B. Fish sanctuary, C. Fishery reserve, D. Marine parks. Correct answer is C. A type of marine protected area, MPA. An MPA is a section of the ocean where a government has placed limits on human activity. A marine reserve is a marine protected area in which removing or destroying a natural or cultural resource is prohibited. What influenced bycatch? A type of gear and vessels. B. Location, a type of vessel. C. Location and type of fishing gear. D. Lack of modern gear and vessel. The correct answer is C. Different fishing gear types have a different impact on bycatch habitat and the rate at which overfishing occurs. Different fish species live in different areas of the water column, surface, midwater, bottom dwelling, and behave in various ways. 20. Is expected to have substantial and unexpected effects on the marine environment. A. Industrialization, B. Marine pollution, C. Climate change, D. Ocean acidification. The correct answer is C. Refers to long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns. These shifts may be natural, such as through variation in the solar cycle, but since the 18th, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to burning fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas. 21. Which of the listed ecosystem types provide the largest fisheries catch? A. Open seas and ocean, B. Non-tropical shelves, C. Coastal reef system, D. Tropical shelf. The correct answer is C. A coral reef is an underwater ecosystem characterized by reef-building walls. Reefs are formed of colonies of coral polyps held together by calcium carbonate. Most coral reefs are built from stony corals whose polyps cluster in groups. 22. Any species that is deliberately or incidentally introduced into an area they do not naturally occur. A. Proposed species, B. Threatened species, C. Invasive species, D. Endangered species. The correct answer is C. An invasive species as an introduced organism that becomes overpopulated and harms its new environment. 23. Any species that is in immediate danger of extinction. A. Proposed species, B. Threatened species, C. Endangered species, D. Invasive species. The correct answer is C. Is a species that is very likely to become extinct in the near future, either worldwide or in a particular political jurisdiction. Endangered species may be at risk due to a factor such as habitat loss, poaching, and invasive species. 24. Any species that is in immediate danger of extinction. A. Proposed species. B. Threatened species. C. Endangered species. D. Invasive species. The correct answer is C. A species considered to be facing extremely high risk of extinction in the wild. 25. Species that is at alarmingly low number and is in danger of being endangered. A. Proposed species. B. Endangered species. C. Threatened species. D. Invasive species. The correct answer is C. Are any species which is vulnerable to endangerment in the near future. Species that are threatened or sometimes characterized by the population dynamic measure of critical dispensations and mathematical measure of biomass related to population growth rate. 26 is a fishing area which can still be expanded. A. Underexploited fishing grounds. B. Fully exploited fishing grounds. C. Moderately exploited fishing grounds. D. Depleted fishing ground. The correct answer is C. When a fishery is operating at or close to an optimal yield level with no expected room for further expansion. 26 is a fishing area which can still be expanded. A. Underexploited fishing ground. B. Moderately exploited fishing ground. C. Fully exploited fishing ground. D. Depleted fishing grounds. Correct answer is C. A reduction through overfishing in the level of abundance of the exploited segment of the stock that prevent the realization of the maximum productive capacity. 27 is a fishing area where fish abundance has significantly reduced. A. Overexploited fishing ground. B. Moderately exploited fishing ground. C. Depleted fishing grounds. D. Fully exploited fishing ground. Correct answer is C. A reduction through overfishing in the level of abundance of exploited segment of a stock that prevents the realization of the maximum productive capacity. 28 is a fishing area which is at high exploitation level and where fish stock is greatly reduced. A. Underexploited fishing ground. B. Moderately exploited fishing ground. C. Overexploited fishing ground. D. Depleted fishing ground. The correct answer is C. The removal of marine living resources to levels that are too low for sustaining viable population. It can also lead to resource depletion and put a number of threatened and endangered species at risk of extinction. 29. There are two ways of fish population abundance to change. These are A. Migration and immigration. B. Recruitment and birth. C. Birth and death. D. Survival and mortality. The correct answer is C. The dynamic of marine fish population, it is the basis for understanding changing fishery patterns and issues such as habitat destruction, predation, and optimal harvesting rates. 30. In fisheries, it is often assumed that survival is affected by density dependence during A. Juvenile stage, B. Nupular stage, C. Larva stage, D. Adult stage. The correct answer is C. Larva fish live off a yolk sac attached to their bodies. They are poorly developed and possess a yolk sac or membranous sac containing yolk that provides nourishment for the larvae. At this stage, larvae are termed yolk sac larvae. 31. A natural phenomenon caused by high amount of CO2 entering the ocean and producing weak acid known as carbonic acid, causing corals to bleach. A. Coral bleaching. B. Ocean warming. C. Ocean acidification. D. Coral acidification. The correct answer is C. Ocean acidification refers to a reduction in the pH of the ocean over an extended period of time, caused primarily by uptaking of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. It also reduces the amount of carbonate, a key building block in seawater. 32. Fishing for a specified species by a specified gear is prohibited in a specified area is called A. Open season. B. Closed season. C. Selective fishing. D. Responsible fishing code. Correct answer is C. This property of fishing gears is termed as gear selectively. Consider selectively as the capacity of any method of gear type to capture certain fractions or section of the fish population, whether grouped by species, age, size, or behavior, and to exclude others. 33. Corals, oyster, clams, mussels, and phytoplankton are few examples of marine organisms affected by ocean acidification because they are already rely on the billed shells and skeleton. A. Calcium chloride. B. Magnesium carbonate. C. Calcium carbonate. D. Calcium sulfate. Correct answer is C. Fish make calcium carbonate by combining calcium from seawater with carbonate ions generated from CO2 in their bodies. If the amount of atmospheric CO2 goes up as expected, leading to a CO2 increase in the ocean, the fish may produce more carbonate ions and thus more calcium carbonate. 34. It is the chemical transformation of cellular storage products resulting in the release of free energy. A. Calcium chloride. B. Magnesium carbonate. C. Catabolism. D. Calcium sulfate. Correct answer is C. Is the set of metabolic pathways that breaks down molecules into smaller units that are either oxidate to release energy or used in other anabolic reaction. Catabolism breaks down large molecules into smaller units. 35. Describe change in the state of the atmospheric over time scales ranging from decades to millions of years. This change can be caused by processes inside the earth, force from outside, variation in sunlight intensity, and more recently human activities, which cause Arctic ice to melt, rising sea levels that increase the risk of catastrophic weather conditions, flooding, super typhoon, cyclones, forest fire, and many more. A. Global warming. B. Greenhouse effect. C. Climate change. D. Albedo elect. Correct answer is C. Climate change refers to a long-term shift in temperature and weather patterns. Climate change effects such as increased sea temperature and current flows will bring shift in the distribution of marine fish stock. 36. These are fishing activities undertaken in the area of competence of a relevant regional fisheries management organization which have not been reported or have been misreported in contraventions of the organization. A. Illegal fishing. B. Unregulated fishing. C. Unreported fishing. D. Responsible fisheries code. The correct answer is C. Refers to fishing activities which have not been reported or have been misreported by the vessels to the relevant national authority. Remains one of the greatest threats to marine ecosystem due to its potent ability to undermine national and regional efforts to manage fisheries sustainably as well as endeavors to conserve marine biodiversity. 37. These are activities which are conducted by national or foreign vessels in waters under the jurisdiction of a state without the permission of the state or in contravention of its law and regulations or in violation of national laws or international obligation, includes those undertaken by cooperating states to a relevant regional fisheries management organization. A. Unreported fishing. B. Unregulated fishing. C. Illegal fishing. D. Responsible fisheries code. Correct answer is C. Refers to fishing activities conducted by foreign vessels without permission in waters under the jurisdiction of other states or which contravene in fisheries laws and regulation in some other manner. For example, by disregarding fishing times or the instance of the state protected area. 38. These are fishing activities in areas or for fish stock in relation to which these are no applicable conservation or management measures and where such fishing activities are conducted in a manner consistent with state responsibilities for the conservation of living marine resources under international law. A. Illegal fishing. B. Unreported fishing. C. Unregulated fishing. D. Irresponsible fisheries code. The correct answer is C. Occurs in areas or fish stock for which these are no applicable conservation or management measures and where such fishing activities are conducted in a manner consistent with the state responsibilities for the conservation of living marine resources under international law. 39. Are aquatic resources thriving in the water column or open sea? Many move in large schools over great distance and even across ocean throughout their life cycle. This group includes the tunas, mackerels, round scad, anchovies, and herrings. A. Illegal fishing. B. Unreported fishing. C. Unregulated fishing. D. Responsible fisheries code. The correct answer is C. Pelagic fish can be categorized as coastal and oceanic fish based on the depth of the water they inhabit. Coastal pelagic fish inhabit sunlight waters up to about 655 feet deep, typically about the continental shelf. The basic building nutrients of any growing animal and the major component of the fish body. A. Carbohydrates. B. Vitamins. C. Lipids. D. Amino acid. The correct answer is C. A lipid is any of various organic compounds that are insoluble in water. They include fats, waxes, oil, hormones, and certain components of membrane and function as energy storage molecules and chemical messenger. 41. Unorganic compounds require a small amount for normal growth, reproduction, and health of a fish. A. Carbohydrates, B. Lipids, C. Vitamins, D. Amino acid. Correct answer is C. Vitamins are organic substances that are generally classified as either fat-soluble or water-soluble. It helps the growth, reproduction, and maintain a good health of fishes. 42. Are fat-soluble compounds found in an animal tissues and important source of energy? Dietary fats provide essential fatty acids needed for normal growth and development of fish. A. Carbohydrates, B. Vitamins, C. Lipids, D. Amino acid. Correct answer is C. A lipid is any of various organic compounds that are insoluble in water. They include fats, waxes, oils, hormones, and certain components of membrane and function as energy storage molecules and chemical messenger. Also, molecules that contain hydrocarbons and make up the building blocks of the structural and functional living cell. 43. They are usually provided by cereal, grains, or other plant products either in raw form or incorporated into a prepared diet in fish. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Carbohydrates, D. Amino acid. The correct answer is C. Prepared feeds for carnivorous fish usually contain less than 20% soluble carbohydrates, while feeds in omnivorous species usually contain 25 to 45%. In addition to being a source of energy, soluble carbohydrates in fish feed also give pellets integrity and stability and makes them less dense. 44. They can be synthesized by fish. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Non-essential amino acid, D. Amino acid. Correct answer is C. The non-essential amino acids for fish are alanine, asparagines, aspartic acid, cytosine, glutamic acid, glutamine, glycine, proline, serine, and tyrosine. These are amino acids have nutritional significance because their presence in the diet conserves energy that is required for protein synthesis. 45. For site proper growth, reproduction, resistant to infection, and maintenance of body covering. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Vitamin A, D. Amino acid. The correct answer is C. Also known as retinol has several important functions. These include helping your body's natural defense against illness and infection work properly. It supports cell growth, immune function, fetal development, and vision. Number 46. Help the body mobilize, transport, absorb, and use calcium and phosphorus. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Vitamin D, D. Amino acid. The correct answer is C. It concludes that trout, like terrestrial vertebrates, produce 1,2,5,2,D3 as the functional form of the vitamin D, and that it has an effect on calcium homeostasis. Furthermore, vitamin D is formed in the skin of this fish by the photochemical action of visible light on 7-dehydrocholesterol. 47. Working with selenium protects cells against the adverse effect of oxidation. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Vitamin A, D. Amino acid. Correct answer is C. Fish-fed diets supplement with vitamin A had a greater gut length and gut weight compared to those without. Vitamin A deficiency depressed fish growth, impaired the immune functions, and disturbed the structural integrity of the head, kidneys, spleens, and skin in grass carp, but optimal vitamin E supplementation can reverse those negative effects in fish. 48. For normal blood clotting process. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Vitamin K, D. Amino acid. Correct answer is C. Vitamin K plays vital roles in blood coagulation and bone mineralization in fish, but the suggested minimum requirements varies considerably depending on the vitamin K source used. Vitamin K deficiency is characterized by mortality, anemia, increased blood clotting time, and histopathological change in liver and gills. 49. This is required for maintenance of osmotic balance between body fluids and their environment. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Minerals, D. Amino acid. The correct answer is C. The key minerals fish needs in bulk area calcium and phosphorus. Calcium is found in hard water and can be absorbed through the gills, and phosphorus is found in a live underwater plant. 50. Is the storage of assimilated food energy as carbohydrates, proteins, and fat of the fish. A. Lipids, B. Vitamins, C. Anabolism, D. Amino acid. The correct answer is C. The synthesis of complex molecules in living organisms from simpler ones together with the storage of energy. It is a bone development and mineralization as well as a muscle mass gain.